Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today, we're going to be discussing a video with LeBron James and his comments on Kyrie Irving. But before we do that, make sure you guys click the button to subscribe to our channel. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you get all of the videos that we post. Make sure you hit the thumbs up on the video as well. The algorithm likes to see that. And share the video if you get a chance. We're going to jump right into...
And don't forget to comment.
And most importantly, leave your comments because we'll be able to dialogue back and forth with you. But you ready to get into this video, Terrence?
Let's go.
Let's do it. All
right. Yeah, I can tell you this. It's simple. Me personally, I don't condone any hate to any kind, to any race, to Jewish communities, to black communities, to Asian communities. You guys know where I stand, and it's part of the reason why I didn't air the Shop episode, why we kicked that, out of the archives, because it was hate conversation going on there, and I don't represent that. There's no place in this world for it. Nobody can benefit from that. And I believe, what Kyrie did caused some harm to a lot of people.
Let's just pause it right there for a second. I think he started off all right. You know what I'm saying? He don't condone hate against basically any community based on their ethnicity or race, which is how you should be. He went on to say that he removed this episode of The Shop, but he didn't really elaborate. You got any more information on that episode of The Shop?
My understanding the episode with Kanye West was pretty much going into the Jewish faith a little bit more, and his issues with those within media and the avenues of circles that they're aligned with within their status a little bit more. I don't have much information off of it, but we just have to kind of take LeBron's word that it was incendiary and deservedly needed to be taken down. So.
Right. That's kind of where I was at. I didn't see that episode, and I guess he took it down, by his estimation. It was a good reason for him to take it down. But he did refer to, Kyrie's actions as harming, and let's see what else he has to say about it.
And he has since, over the last, I think today, or was it yesterday, he apologized. But he caused some harm, and
what harm?
And I think it's unfortunate. Wow. But I don't stand on the position to harm people when it comes to your voice or your platform or anything. And so it doesn't matter what color your skin is, how tall you are, what position you are in. If you are promoting
Can we
or
pause?
soliciting or
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think I just have to interject a little bit because we continue to see these media outlets go to these sports figures and these ex-players and commentators and color analysts getting comments about issues that they hear about, but they're so misinformed or uninformed on the context. And I think there needs to be pointed out that LeBron doesn't know the context of the movie. He hasn't seen it. And we're referring to the Hebrews to Negroes documentary,
Right.
And books that have been around for a few years now. So this isn't anything that's new. It's not new material. It's not something that a basic Google search couldn't give you results for. But what I like to say is hate is one thing, difference of opinion is another. Anyone can perceive something to be hateful. I hate you. You know, we see it every day in our culture. Uh, you hate because someone wears a blue or red shirt because they may represent another neighborhood or another block, but you have no reason to hate that person.
Or
It's just
political
the
party.
affiliation. Correct. Speaking of today, since today is election day, so
Happy election day.
yeah. But I just wanted to interject that I think people throw out the word hate a little too often.
Too loosely.
And yes, and that's hate is a powerful word.
Yeah.
You
So
know,
it's
and
anti-Semitic. I think people throw around the term anti-Semitic very loosely. And,
yes,
there just isn't really any even second level questions, right? Like, not even getting deep. Like, it's not even like, okay, what part was offensive to you? It's like all of the onus is on Kyrie to explain the parts that they found offensive. They want him to break down an entire documentary and the parts of it that were supposedly, allegedly, right, or downright offensive. They want him to break it
and
down
that's
as
a
opposed to being like, this is the part of that documentary that offended me, because they haven't watched the documentary. To me, it feels like selective outrage, and more of a shooting of the messenger as opposed to the message. We'll get into that,
message.
in another video about why I think this is a kind of shooting the messenger as opposed to actual outrage. But for the purpose of the video, we can move on so we can get through LeBron's comments.
All right.
Or saying harmful things to any community that harm people, then I don't respect it. I don't condone it.
Considering you do identify that his actions as being harmful to people, what do you believe could be a resolution for him to get past the current suspensions that he has with the Nets and Nike?
I don't know. Because at the end of the day, Kyrie is his own man. He stands up in front of the media and speaks. He is a man. He has a great family. I mean, I love the kid. Well, he's not even a kid anymore. He's 30. The direction.
LeBron James needs to stop disrespecting Kyrie Irving and calling him a kid. And I don't know if there's any correlation between this interview. I doubt that there is. But why is it so difficult for LeBron James to call him a man? I mean, this got to be the 10th time that LeBron James has corrected himself, calling Kyrie a kid. So if you see him as a kid, then you're not going to respect his positions about politics and all of that stuff anyway, which would make it easier for you to go out and say that Kyrie's actions were harmful multiple times in a single interview, without having to actually say what was harmful that he did, because he didn't say anything. They keep saying what Kyrie said. He didn't say anything in the initial post. So, but I'm just tired of hearing LeBron James call Kyrie Irving a kid. That's sorry.
The steps that he take. But he's apologized for what he said. And I hope that he understands that what he said was harmful to a lot of people. And we as humans, none of us are perfect, but I hope he understands how, what he did or the actions that he took was just harmful to a lot of people. I really didn't get into it too much, but I understand that when you hurting anybody, I understand that. That is just common sense.
Last two. LeBron, sticking with the theme of social consciousness, you've been very vocal about civic engagement, and the league is actually shutting down games on Tuesday to encourage voting. Why do you think, in your opinion, it's actually necessary to do that?
I think from the black community, and obviously our league is predominantly black athletes, black players, black men. Our community, we talk and speak about change a lot. So in order to have change, we have to get out and actually put our mouths and put our hands and put our pens or pencils to the polls.
Pause. Can I interject a little bit here?
Of course.
When you have a platform, it's important, man. It's so important, and I feel like he missed a great opportunity. When you specifically when he's speaking about our culture and what we lack is something that I just want to reference with Ice Cube and his plan that was shut down via social media with the Biden group because he wanted to meet with the Republicans. As a community, we have no agenda. Our agenda is fall in line. And if you don't fall in line, you're not black, says the president. So as a community, speaking for the community, he had an opportunity right there, to go deeper. He's not qualified. I think we both know that. But he has resources and he has a platform and he has access. So even if you're unqualified, you should be able to speak on these important topics when it comes to voting and our community. If you're speaking for our community, you need to understand that we need an agenda and we need to be on one accord on that agenda to get things done, and that our vote actually means something, and we will withhold our vote if standards are met. So I feel that he missed a great opportunity right there. And I just had to interject before we move on.
Especially during election season, But I agree with you.
Community, and then it starts, and it's a city, and then out to the state, and then all the way, out the country. We have an opportunity to be able to say that you've done your due diligence to try to help create change in your community. And we've been oppressed for so long. Obviously, I had the More Than a Vote initiative when we was in the bubble. I was very active with that, and our so many musicians and athletes and leaders was able to come on board with us. But we've been oppressed for so long. They've told us we couldn't vote. They told our women, our black women, they weren't allowed to vote for so many years.
What? So what, black men could vote and black women couldn't? This is why more qualified people need to be having this conversation, right? Because LeBron James his platform is too large for him to have and it's just a misstatement. I get it. But this is why you let the people who are qualified to have these conversations speak. I digress.
Years, and but they continue to, reprimand us or do things to us in our community that harm us and harm our family, and we sit here and wonder why or what's going on. So I think it's very important that you get educated about what's going on, who is your local people are that's going to be making decisions in your community, making decisions that could affect you, could affect your family, could affect your school districts and things of that nature. Because it's important. I know we, as black people, sometimes we don't believe that our vote counts. We don't believe that it matters. And I can just say black people because I just know my people. I can't speak for everybody. I just know how we are. But it does matter. And, and we saw a change when, we wanted to get someone out of office. I hope people take it serious.
Thank you.
Yep, no problem.
Yeah, LeBron, kind of to Dave's point, I mean, you have a platform built on sort of more than an athlete as its underlying premise. I'm curious, how have you seen the seriousness that people have taken that as they've waded into other waters? And I'm curious if you've evolved in sort of, whether when it comes to things like social media and stuff like that, in terms of like, yes, this is something I want to talk about or address, and maybe this is something I don't want to talk about or address.
I think you guys have grown to know me over the last few years that I've been a part of this organization, and Dave has known me a little bit longer, trying to look around. Okay, that's it. I speak about things that kind of hit home for me. That comes from my heart, comes from my gut. Things that I believe in, things that I'm passionate about. Or some things that just hit me and I just know that it's just wrong. I mean, I definitely have, common sense, and I know the difference between right and wrong. And so with more than an athlete.
Is he implying that Kyrie doesn't know the difference between right and wrong? This might be a topic for the show, but go ahead.
I don't think he was going that far into it.
Okay.
Take it as a grain of salt. I get where you're at, but I don't think that was his thought pattern in this process. But I do gotta say, man, journalism has gone down the tank. I'm listening to the line of questioning, like, you get paid to do this, and this is the way you formatted the question to probably one of the biggest superstars. And I'm like,
these are some terrible questions. And to be honest with you, I don't really care about the rest of his answer. I think the point has been made that, LeBron James is, he's a Disney activist, in my opinion. He's quiet on subjects like China and that sort of stuff. And I'm a huge LeBron James supporter. I appreciate his game and all of that. It's great to see a still active athlete, almost, to a billionaire, and, the things that he's been able to do, for his community and financially and from a philanthropy perspective, and the fact that he has a voice, so I appreciate that he's more of an activist than we got out of Michael Jordan. But he's very measured in everything that he does and says. And he ain't going to buck back against the system. He's only cool with the kind of activism that they say you can be cool with. And I'm not really trying to go super hard on LeBron, because I really do like LeBron James. But in this scenario, I think that everybody's just kind of been piling on Kyrie. And, the same way he's vindicated with with his vaccination stance based on the laws that were passed in New York, he's going to be vindicated on this as well. So those are my comments on this situation. What say you?
Potential has a shelf life. I would say that LeBron, he's reached the peak of greatness, in his profession.
For sure.
And I think when it comes to being an activist, he's a novice. He has potential to grow, but just based off of what's behind him, I don't think he'll ever reach the potential of what he could be as a black activist for our culture. And it's unfortunate that I don't think we'll ever see another activist like a Muhammad Ali, like a Jim Brown, who's willing to sacrifice comfort, for the betterment of people. Sometimes, we get these athletes that make so much money nowadays, and they feel that once I make a certain amount of money, I can do a little bit more. Rightfully so, but standing for something when it happens is important, not after, not in reflection. So I would like to see a modern day athlete who will stand for something in a moment, versus a standing reaction. Appreciate what LeBron is doing. His school, the I Promise School, and the achievements that he's made. I just wish he went a little bit further. I believe he's at a point in his life where your sons are going to be making upwards of $100 million within their careers in the next 5 to 10 years. You ain't got nothing to lose at this point. So sometimes you got to dive all the way in. I really hope and wish that, as you said in our last video, some of these athletes and musicians and folks with a platform do get with our philosophers, with our scholars, and share their platform so that the real message can get out to the people who are following you and they can educate themselves. So we got a long ways to go, and I'm just waiting for someone like Kyrie to do it.
Right. Like Steve Harvey said, man, for the sake of my money, I can't have integrity. I'm supposed to sacrifice all this comfort for my integrity? Yeah. So that's where we are. Share the video, comment, leave your comments. We would love to hear from you. We want to engage with you guys. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and make sure you like the video as well. For the culture, we out of here.
Peace, love.